Hi everyone. We want to continue our discussion about strings. Well, in last lecture, we review most of the things about string we have already learned, and that includes how do we do the codes. And remember, for the strings in Python, we can do single quotes or double quotes, or we can do triple quotes. And for triple quotes, I mean you can do either triple double quotes or triple single quotes. Okay, and then we talk about escape sequence, and that is a backslash and then something else, like a backslash n for a line break, or a backslash t for a horizontal tab. And then we have the len function, we have the plus for concatenation, we have the multiplication, that is for string repetition, and then we have the in operator. And we can also do slicing, and there's a replace function we have learned. And I want to talk a little bit more about the find. Okay, and say I have created a string Demacia. Okay, and if I want to do Demacia dot find, nope, my string dot find Cia, for example. Okay, and then let me do a print. So my string dot find Cia, and Cia is here. So there is one here, and let's run this and see what are we gonna get. We are gonna get a 4 because that is the first occurrence starts on index 4. Okay, and let me do another thing. So how about I do my string dot index? Again, I'm using Cia, and let me run this again. Okay, I got 4 again, right? So, well, it seems that for both the find and the index, it will give you the first occurrence of the substring you're looking for. So, well, so far I don't see any difference. And let me do another test. So how about instead of searching Cia, now I'm searching Kia. Okay, so Kia is not a substring inside the Demacia. So let's see what are we gonna have. Okay, so for the first two, we got 4s. So good. And then for the next one, if we are doing a find, what are we gonna get? We are gonna get a -1. Okay, so and I would say this is a safe choice because it doesn't matter you have such a substring or not. You know you have a peace of mind that the program is not going to crash. However, if you're doing the index Kia, and then it will return the substring not found, and then it will be an exception. Okay, so I'm going to say unsafe might be an exception. Okay, so that's the difference between the dot find and the dot index in the string data type. Okay, so let's come back. Well, today we are going to see a lot more of the string method, and then we will also see the string as a module. Okay, so that's the first thing. Well, there are really a lot of the methods we can do with the string, and for those syntax, well, you have to do a string object dot something. Well, say a string dot upper, and then you have all uppercases, or a string lower, you get all lowercases. And then you can do a string dot count, so that you're going to count how many occurrence of a substring inside another string. And we have the end with, and we have the start with, and then we can check whether such a string starts with a substring or ends with a substring. And we have the index, we talk about that, and then we have is lower. It will tell you whether it is a all lowercase string, or we also have a is super, so it's upper. I think it should be is upper. Okay, and let me do a search. There might be something wrong. Is upper. Okay, yes, it's upper. So my bad. I'm gonna fix it. Okay. Well, and here are some more. Well, we have the string is alphanumeric. Well, it will return true if all the characters in this string are either alpha or numeric characters. And we have is alpha and is digit as well. Okay, so it seems that there are really a lot of the methods we can do with the strings. Well, if you want to see a full list and then you want to follow this hyperlink, and just now I have already done so. Well, and then there's also a string module, and for a string module, it predefines some of the constants. And for example, if you do the digits, and then it will predefine a string of the digits. Or if you have to do the lowercase or uppercase, and you can do that as well. And you may say, why this kind of things have to be designed, have to be predefined in the Python language? Well, and this can be very handy. And for example, do you remember that we have a super long string and we have to do a filter, so we only keep the digits? Well, let me remind you what we did in the older version. Say we have a super long string equals, say, 112 comma 675 comma 431 comma 976. Okay, that's enough. And then we want to have this string cleaned. We only want to keep the digits. So how did we do that? So what we did was for char in super long string, and then we also want to create a clean string equals empty. And then I'm going to say if char in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I want to do a clean string plus equals char. Eventually, I want to print the clean string. So, well, in this process, for each character, I'm gonna check whether the current character is a substring of this one. So, if the current character I'm visiting is a substring of this part, 0 to 9 string, and then I'm touching a digit. So I'm keeping that in the clean string. Otherwise, I'm going to do nothing. So if I'm drawing this, oops, I have to comment this line out. If I'm running this line, and I'm gonna get a string cleaned. So after I clean this string, and then I only keep the digits, right? So now after knowing that we have a string module, and then how can we do that? We can do this way. We can do the string dot digits. By doing the string dot digits, you are gonna get exactly this string. So you save some of the typing. So let's go back and do the change. Well, the first thing is I want to do a import string because that is a module. And after that, I can do string dot digits. Okay, so this is a predefined string in the module of string. So when I'm doing the import string and I'm importing a module called string. Well, this is not the first module we have learned. Well, do you remember we have also talked about a random, right? So this is also a module name. After we have the module, and then we are able to do this, the module name and dot a predefined variable name. So in this case, I'm gonna do the digits. And then if I want to run that, and ta-da, I got the same thing. Well, and you may say, well, hand type a string from 0 to 9 is not so bad, right? But how about hand typing a string from A to Z, and the uppercase is A to Z? And well, in the string module, we have the lower cases, the upper cases as two strings, and also we have a lattice, that is the upper cases and lower cases combined. So if you want to go through a string character by character and do some checks, well, make sure you are using those predefined variables. And for example, when you are hand typing a string from A to Z, and if you are careless and you may miss something, right? Say if you miss the letter S, and then you didn't really find it out until sometime that you find your program just behave in a weird way, right? Okay, so let me go back here. Well, in the string methods, as I said, there are really a lot of the predefined methods, and for some of the methods, and they can be confusing. And what do I mean? Say, let me try this. Well, I have the string Demacia, right? And then I do Demacia, my string dot upper. Okay, so what does the upper do? It seems that the upper will change everything to uppercases, right? And then, well, if I want to do a print my string again, so what are you going to see? Well, originally it is a lowercase Demacia, and then I did a dot upper. So my question is, does the dot upper change everything to uppercases? So let's run this code and try to find it out. That's That's a little bit unexpected, right? Because when I'm calling the dot upper, I was kind of expecting everything to change to uppercases, but it's not the case. Okay, well, let me try another way. Let me define a variable name. I'm going to do my string underscore upper equals my string dot upper. So I'm using another variable name to hold the return value of the dot upper, and then instead of printing my string, I want to print my string dot upper. Okay, so let me try this version. And yes, I got the Demacia in all uppercases. So what's the difference? Well, in this version, I understand my string dot upper doesn't really change my string itself to all uppercases. It will return you a new copy of the same string, but all the characters in uppercase. Do you see that? Okay, so my question is, how do we know that? Right? We have to do some tests to know that. And my answer is yes. Well, if you want to do some coding and to test it out, that's fine. But let's do that in another way. That is, how about we just do a upper, and then that is a search here. Okay. Well, this is the hyperlink, well, docs.python.org, and then this is the official documentation, and then I'm doing the string data type, and then I'm checking what are the built-in methods for strings, and then I find this part, so string.upper. Okay, and then let's read the description. The description says return a copy of the string with all the characters converted to uppercases. Okay, so it tells you it returns a new copy of the strings instead of changing the original one. Okay, so you see that? Well, the answer to my question is, how do I find a dot upper? How does the dot upper work? You have two choices. Well, you can write some code and try to test it by yourself, or you can go into the official Python documentation and you will be able to find that out. Okay. Well, after you do more coding with Python, and from time to time, well, even though you can find some of the answers from by doing Google searches like the Stack Overflow, well, this website, the docs.python.org, and that is the official place to check the descriptions of the built-in data types and built-in functions or methods. Okay, so I believe this video is long enough, and I'm going to continue in the next video.